The following episode may contain sensitive content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Show Must Go On. Season 2. We're here. Yeah.
Wow.
It's been how many weeks? Actually, it's been like a month.
I thought you were going to say how many years, and I was like,
no,
it's been 84 years.
Titanic. Yep. Yeah. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a nice holiday break. I know Tracey begs for her life on her cruise ship to Hawaii.
Yes,
I actually begged for my life in a catamaran in the DR. So yeah, this is how life is going. We're very much safe and sound back in our homes.
2025, we're staying away from the ocean.
Yeah,
we're not going out on the ocean. I think that's what we learned.
Scary. Yeah, it's
it
very
really
scary.
is.
Mm-hmm.
But we survived. We made it.
But, you know, we're just glad to be back. Glad that you guys are still with us. We do have a guest today, and we're gonna introduce him in a couple of minutes. I just wanted to say that this whole break, I've been watching a lot of things. I'm so proud of myself. I've been like catching up. It's awards season. I've been kind of shocked with the awards too. You know, it's been really interesting, and we are very much aware of the situation going on in LA. It's really, really sad. So I will put in the show notes links for people to donate, to however you can help. We are really far away from them. So and I've never experienced any of that. I'm sure Tracey hasn't either. But I hope everyone that's there, if you lost your home, I'm really sorry. I can't imagine how emotional that is. And but if you're safe, that's really all that matters. And if your pets are safe, that's really all that matters. So we're thinking of all of you, and I just wanted to like put that out there before we start.
Perfect.
Okay, 2025 coming in strong, slapping us in the face. You know. But you know, we're here to lighten up the mood and for everyone, and to have like a nice little escape, and you know, a safe place for people to vent and give their opinions. And talking about that, again, this is The Show Must Go On, and we do have a guest today that we're really excited about. And Tracey, are you gonna tell us who the guest is?
I have the honor of introducing you to a very special guest today. We're super excited. So today we have Owen. So Owen, he is 27-year-old event planner based in Philadelphia. Ayo.
Abbott Elementary.
Abbott Elementary,
yes,
Eagles.
Exactly.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Ben Franklin, you know.
Brotherly love, baby. So Owen brings his unique perspective to the world of movies and TV shows. While he gravitates toward the horror genre, his appreciation extends across all genres, showcasing his versatile taste. A true Cancer at heart, Owen's emotional connection to storytelling ensures that even the slightest hint of sentimentality in a film or series will strike a chord and often bring tears to his eyes. I feel that. Beyond his love for entertainment, he proudly shares life with his partner and our friend, Giovanni.
Woo!
Welcome,
Thank you,
Owen.
thank you.
How are
So
you, my
happy to have
friend?
you.
How's it going?
It's good. It's, halfway through January. It's freezing in Philly right
Oh,
now,
right. Yes.
unfortunately. And
Boo.
yeah, it's very cold. Insulation in my apartment isn't great, so the gas bill's been
Oh
crazy. It's just, yeah,
no.
but good. I'm happy to be in the new year.
Also, you have some traveling coming up. You just reminded me that you are going to the DR soon. How
Yes, next
exciting.
week. Yes, very excited.
Ooh,
Very excited. I think it's my first time. I think I've been
in
on a few
DR,
in GR.
right?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. So yeah, very excited. We're doing like a boat excursion for 3 beaches. We're doing this little boutique kind of resort.
Oh, nice. Oh, right. Joe
Yeah.
told me it was like, is it Puerto Plata? It's like
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it's like in the north.
Like in the north side. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So
Okay.
free breakfast is included. I mean,
Oh,
what could be
and the
better?
breakfast
Uh-huh.
back
Oh, a
home is
Dominican
really
breakfast.
The Dominican breakfast
delicious.
is
Yeah.
that is a treat. That is,
So good,
I
so
lived
good.
so many years without that, and I'm so grateful I now have
You
that all the time.
discovered it.
Exactly. Not on my own accord, of course, but
Okay, well, you get
Better
to
better
like,
late than never.
that's true.
exactly.
And you get
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
leave the
Yeah.
cold for a little bit,
Oh,
Yes.
and then,
Yes.
which is, it's
Yeah.
always good.
Yeah. The low on Wednesdays is I think 7
Oh my
degrees.
God.
Yes. And we're leaving on Tuesday, so we're gonna miss that.
oh, thank
Okay,
So yeah.
good,
God.
Yeah.
good.
Very excited.
Woo.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, right.
Ugh,
Well,
sick.
so we're glad to have you here, and
Yes.
this is I actually been wanting to like have you on the show, but when Joe was in it, I was like, this is kind of like a conflict of interest, like we can't do
Right.
that, you know. And
Totally.
then I actually wanted to have you because I know you like
Ah,
musicals,
yeah.
and no, you're fine, don't worry. I know you like musicals. Joe has always told me your opinion when
What?
you like watch things. And
Yes.
I always kind of like agree with what you're saying. So I was
Mhm.
like, this is like the perfect episode to have him. So that being
Totally.
said, today we are discussing Emilia Pérez, which is it's a musical that came out. I think I want to say it came out in October. But for the streaming
November. Yeah.
platforms, it came out November.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, the way it was bought by Netflix after it came out. Now, this film, it follows a Mexican cartel leader who enlists a lawyer to help the leader disappear by transitioning into a woman. So it's a transgender story, which are really rare. We don't get that. We don't get a lot of those on the screen, especially the the transformation, like the before and the after. We usually see a trans woman or a trans man, but we never see the transition completely. So that said, that for me was already like something different, a different point of view, and a different plot. So before we go into like we will go over like the musical numbers, but I want to hear like a short opinion of each one of you. Tell me, we'll start with Owen. And I want you to be completely honest. Tell me what you thought about this movie,
Yeah.
this musical.
I overall really liked it. When I started it, I was like, what am I getting into? Like it's just it starts off very I knew it was like a musical, but it was like right off the bat, and I was like, oh, we're really getting into it. So I really liked it. It took me a second to like hop on board, but once I was in it, I was very in it.
Okay.
Um, I I saw a lot on social media after it won Golden Globes. That was the recent awards. Yeah, so won a lot of
Yeah.
Golden Globes. That
Mm-hmm.
was the first time I had actually heard of it, and I kept seeing on TikTok people were like, "How could this win over Wicked and this and that?" and they kept showing, well, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but that one, like the scene where she's singing with all the doctors, and
Oh
it's like a little
yeah.
corny. And I
Yeah.
went into it like no, only having seen that part, and I was like, what is it? But then it's this is what social media does. Like the rest of the music is like so beautiful, and like there's so many like very emotional songs that like it was
Mhm.
a little annoying to go into it with that like, is this going to be
Yeah.
like a kitschy, because it was not like kitschy or
Yeah.
corny. So
Yeah.
but overall really liked it, and it changed my initial perspective of what I saw on TikTok. So yeah.
Okay, what about you, Trace?
Okay. So I do like the fact that it is very interesting that you have the transgender story, but also the beforehand. It's this cartel kingpin
Yeah.
and the drug trade in Mexico. To
Yeah.
me, that is like, the epitome of masculinity and like the violence of everything. And then just that vulnerability of like, but that's not what I want to be. Like, I want to be
Mhm.
a woman. So that was
Mhm.
totally new. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then seeing that afterwards, and, it goes 4 years in the future. And like, now we're seeing Emilia Perez and
Yeah.
like what she's doing with her life. So that was interesting. And I do like the musical aspect of it because it didn't feel like a traditional musical.
Mhm.
Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like, certain musicals you can tell, okay, that they have sort of a theme
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
how the music sounds, but it's
Yeah.
like every song sort of
Mm,
sounded different. So
Mhm.
it was more
yeah.
fitting of like what was happening to that character or what was happening in that moment. So I thought
Mhm.
that was really interesting too. My only issue is that at the end, um, I feel like I should have been crying or like really upset,
Mm,
and I wasn't.
It felt rushed.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but it's more than 2 hours. So that should feel like enough time to get invested with your
Yes.
character. Like I sobbed like a baby in the first 10 minutes of Up. So,
Yeah. Well,
like I
Right.
am capable of crying, but
no, I
it's just
agree
like
with
the
you.
the storytelling of it, and I don't know, I feel like there were just some things missing with it. I don't know. It wasn't 100% for me. I did like it. I didn't love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
I
The
gotta say
crying.
I do
Yeah.
agree. I do agree with Tracy. I liked it. I didn't love it. I think I don't know. It felt like operatic in the way of like Rent, but like the part that you like, Trace, of like, like there was no theme musically. I
mhm.
think it for me, the lack of that was what made me not be invested in the characters because I feel like when you have a musical, even a movie, like each character has a sound. Like there's
Mm,
when these two are together, there's a melody in the back, and music always makes you, I feel, in my opinion, like a little bit more invested in like the scene or the characters, and I think that the lacking of that because I don't think this director has ever done a musical, so I think it fell for me like throwing songs together in a film, and I was like, like, I don't. I want the theme. I want to be invested. I want to know what Jesse's sound is. I want to know
mm,
what what Manita's sound was and Emilia's sound was. Like, I want to know what each one of them. I feel also, in my opinion, I love that I was able to see the transition, but there were some moments for me after the transition when Emilia kind of like used Manita's voice to overpower, and I didn't like that because you know, you're female now, you know, you are a trans woman now. I don't like, and I don't think it was a character's choice. It was more like the director, you know, because I don't think a trans woman would do that. I don't know. Again, I am what's it called? A
Nitpicking?
hetero female,
Oh.
you know? I have no idea what
Yeah.
they go through and what it feels like and how it is before and after. So, you know, it's just my opinion. It just in that sense, it felt a little bit like I don't know, like misogynist a little bit, you know, and I'm talking about a trans woman, you know, which should never feel like that. And then
Sorry,
the
can you think of like any specific examples? Because I feel like I know what you're talking about, but
yeah, like when she was with when Emilia is with Jesse's character and she kind of like talks to her on her face and it's like Manitas is the one that comes out, you know?
like the whole thing with the kids, right? When he like throws her on
Yes.
the bed and he's like, "You're my
Yeah.
kids."
It's like again, I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm just saying as a viewer, I it didn't feel right for me that
Mm,
that was a choice. And because it was like I'm using who I was to overpower you, you know?
mm,
I don't know. I didn't like that feeling and it also it felt weird to me that the actors, you know, were not Mexican. You know, like we had Selena being a Mexican American and mostly American. She's like first, second generation, if I'm not mistaken. You know, Zoe, she is Dominican that was raised in New York, you know, and Karla Sofía, I think if I'm not mistaken, she's from Spain. So that kind of bothered me because, you know, you said like if you're building a story about like the Mexican cartel and the talent is there. It exists. You know, you just have to really search for it. And I'm not discrediting what they've done before and like what they did in this movie. I think they did a great job, but I always like the talent is there. Look for it, and then you're not gonna struggle as much with like accents, you know, like with telling the story even more profoundly because you're talking to people that are from this country, you know. So that's my opinion. Like I had a lot of like mixed feelings the whole time.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I was like I like it. I like what they did, but I'm not a fan of the film.
Right. Like it was a
Um,
little more than an hour through, and I looked at my phone to see what time it was.
yeah. I
You
mean,
know, I was like, "How long has it been?" And I was like,
after
"Oh, I
I
still have another 45
Yeah.
minutes."
Yeah.
after I watched it,
Yeah.
I asked Joe if
Right.
he had seen it, and he told me he's like, "Oh, I stopped 10 minutes in." He's like, I didn't want to watch it." And I was like, I said to him like, "Hey, just push through. Like it's a good story, you know. The
It
story is
Yeah.
good."
is. I think that's
Um,
also
Yeah.
why I'm bothered because it is a good story, and I just feel like there's just
Mhm.
something missing.
well,
I couldn't put my
I
finger
can tell
on it.
you right now what's missing. We have a director that has never done a musical. That's like number one thing. I think
Also,
that's
he's
really, really
French. He
hard.
doesn't speak
He's
Spanish.
French. He doesn't speak Spanish, and he doesn't really speak English, apparently.
Right. He had to have a translator at the
Ooh,
vocals,
So
that's
which
hard.
that's fine, but
Yeah.
that's so
It
hard.
makes it hard.
Everything gets lost
Yeah.
in
right.
translation,
Because then
literally.
you don't know
Mhm.
the culture either. So,
Mhm.
like, how can you tell a story where it's like you have these cartels and like all this violence and stuff that's happening in Mexico, and all these people are getting murdered and disappeared, And it's such an important thing to try to talk about and convey, of all these missing people and loved ones. But it's like, if you're not really familiar with it or know too much,
Mhm.
it didn't go as deep as it probably could have,
Mhm.
because he
Yeah.
doesn't know. He's
Yeah.
French.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
They don't know what that's like.
Exactly. And so let's just go over the musical numbers. Like, let's go in order. So the first one was El Alegato, which is the opening number, and is with Zoe Saldaña. I gotta put like a different plate for her, because I think she did an amazing job in this role. And
Mhm.
I know she's gotten like a lot of nominations and she's winning, but let me tell you, this girl has been doing top tier work for so fucking long.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
She's
I'm
good.
excited that
Yeah.
she is winning now, but I'm like, this is really
Yeah.
good, but she has done even better than that.
Right.
Mhm.
Like, she's done Avatar. Like, she was so
Mhm.
fucking good in Avatar.
Mhm.
Lioness. Like,
Mhm.
this character in Lioness now, I'm like, who is she? Like, she's such an amazing performer. So I knew the moment like she started, I was like, she's gonna be great. Like, I had no doubt in my head. But what did you guys think about that first number?
I feel like
Well, and also for you guys that don't
yeah.
speak Spanish, you know.
I
Yeah.
know. I think that's
Yeah.
an important thing too. But yeah, Owen,
Totally.
please.
Yeah, I mean that I kind of like, even though I of course don't speak the language, like it flowed together so nicely to hear something that was like meant to be in Spanish. Do you know what I mean? Like the song
Mm-hmm.
flowed together, the rhythm, everything kind of worked. And I didn't think about this till later, but I felt like with that first number, it almost was like, it reminds me of like the opening number of a musical. Like it's like a big chorus number, big. So I like that it kind of set the stage, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
like, this is a musical. This is the big group number, you know. And there was like an ending group number later, but like I think it was a good way to like I said, like, what am I getting myself into? Like that was
Yeah,
a good
set
way
it up.
to set it up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Trace?
Yeah, I did like the Spanish. I like that it was in Spanish. But and I know a lot of people were complaining about the accents, but as someone who, it's
Hmm.
not my
Yep.
first language, or I'm not really fluent in it, I can't
Mm.
tell as
Yeah.
much.
Same.
So
Same.
things like that aren't going to bother me, because I can't nitpick with that. I can't say, "Oh, that's a Colombian accent," or that's,
Yeah.
Argentine. Like, I don't know. So to me it all sounded great.
Yeah. No, and
Same.
But
Same. Yeah.
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 honestly, like, exactly, like, for you guys, from like, if you don't speak the language, you're gonna be like, oh, this
Yeah.
sounds great. But for a
Mhm.
person that speaks the language, there were many moments that I was like, who translated this? Like,
Okay.
it felt
Yeah.
very like ChatGPT a little bit.
Mm,
Yeah. And
okay.
also like,
Mm.
they couldn't,
Interesting.
you can tell that the composing the lyrics, the person that did it was not Spanish speaking,
Yeah.
because
Mm.
some words, like, and it's not even like the accent of, because I feel like with the actors singing wise, the accent would go away. So it was great. It was more
Mhm.
like when they would speak that you hear the accent, but some words, like, they were not said properly because the melody of the song wouldn't let them, so I was like, ooh,
Mhm.
like, let's
Huh.
say, like, this would never happen to Lin-Manuel Miranda, like, this guy did in the Heights, and he speaks both languages. So, he knows where, like, the accent of each word goes, and
Mm.
how to, like, create the
Mhm.
music for those sentences, or like adapt the sentence to the music. And I think that was like my problem for the beginning. I was like, oh, like, none of us, nobody in Latin America speaks like that, you
Okay.
know?
Mm.
That's a good
Good
note.
to
Thank
know.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like if
Yeah.
you're from like I watched it with Trey and he was like, "Oh, this is great," you know? And he
Yeah, and
knows
you're
a
like,
lot of Spanish. Like
yeah.
he's advancing his Duolingo, you know, and when he's in
I
DR,
love it.
when he's in
Oh
DR,
God.
he's speaking Spanish with everyone, you know? But
Yeah.
it didn't bother him. But for me, I was like, ooh, like yeah, no, we
Mm.
don't speak like that, you know?
Okay.
But you can tell that it's like,
Hmm.
well, they meant to say this, you know? Like I knew what they were trying to say,
Okay.
you
Got
know?
it.
And I think
So,
that's what, you know.
all right. So going forward, we'll take that note and I guess we'll
Yeah.
just talk about like the actual
Mm-hmm.
music and maybe
Mm-hmm.
just like the overall feeling and
Yeah.
how it's like the
Yes.
cinematography and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but with that said, I do like the opening.
I do like the opening. I
Okay.
also feel like it tells us right away who she is
Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
like her character and how sick and tired she is of the same fucking bullshit, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
she's such a good actress. So
Yeah.
it
And
was so
also,
specific too.
I think also, sorry, like as a woman, like you work
Mm-hmm.
so fucking hard
Mm-hmm.
and you're the backbone
Mm-hmm.
of the legal company, the legal team, whatever, and your fucking boss gets all the credit for your statement that you wrote.
Yeah.
And you're in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
background.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like don't even
Yep.
get like a thank you or anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love when she
Cleaning up messes.
turned the paper towards him and was like, this pointing to it, like this
Uh-huh.
is your line, like, and she's mouthing the words like she should be up
Uh-huh.
there. Yeah.
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 Yeah, like she knew everything. Like she
Mm-hmm.
knew
Mm-hmm.
everything like by heart, you know?
Right. But it's like because he's a man, so him making her statement, those words
Mm-hmm.
come out of his mouth, is more impactful. And that's the reason why
Mm-hmm.
their client gets
Mm-hmm.
off.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes. And then after that, that's the opening number. We get a lot of information right away in that opening number. Then we have Todo y Nada, which you guys watched it more recently. If I'm not mistaken, this is happening with a lot of people around her. And it's kind of like showcasing um her thoughts throughout until she gets that call from basically the cartel to it's like a bridge that connects her to El Encuentro, which is the song that Manitas sing.
Right.
Was
Which,
that
by
part of
the
that
way,
was
I
got
didn't
it.
know that it was the same actress
Yeah.
that played
Mm-hmm.
both.
Yep.
Hmm.
That was
Yeah.
so interesting to
So
me.
whoever did the makeup and everything, good job. Because also like because the gold
Beautiful.
teeth was like excellent because she
Yep.
really does have like very like nice straight white teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So if they had left that, like we would have
Hmm.
known. But I
Yeah.
feel like the
Hmm.
gold teeth was good for the character. It was good for
Hmm.
like just that transformation.
Hmm.
So good
You were
job.
gonna say,
Yep.
Owen?
What this second song was that part of when she was like alone in the courtroom and there was like the maid service was like cleaning up like that, because I remember like I
Yes.
loved the dance to that where they're kind of like swaying
Yeah.
on each other, like I it was
Yep.
very visually appealing, I
Hmm.
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that one is
Yeah.
like basically, you know, we see her in the opening number and it's like just showing us who she is. But then I feel like that todo y nada to, you know, the moment that she meets Manitas, it just shows us like her strength and you know how much she has like fought to where she is and it's still not enough, you know, it's still not where she needs to be, it's still not where she actually earned already to be, it's she still has to like fight for it and to see, you know, because she's working like fucking until 3 4 a.m cleaning careers there. It just shows so much of like the story of her character already in that second number, you know.
Also, it's like the internal struggle, you know, when you like tell yourself, I shouldn't do it, but I should, but I shouldn't
Mhm.
because of the, so like just that push and pull of all these reasons. And then she's like, what do I have to lose?
Yeah, the internal
Fucking
conversation.
nada.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we go to Manitas, which is like El Encuentro. And that conversation between Manitas and Zoe's character
Rita.
in the car, Rita, in the car.
Mhm.
Which I still like think because I watched it not knowing it was her playing the same role before and after. So like I still go in my head, I'm like, I still can't believe it was her. Um, and I had the same problem with the Spanish there,
Mm.
and I bet in that sense it's hard because she's from Spain. So their dialect is kind of different than,
Mhm.
from Mexico. So, and I'm sure there's like a boundary there. Like you don't know how to approach that. Like if I was an actress and I'm like, this is what I have to sing, I don't know if I would say, I don't know where the limit is. Like you want to be respectful of the composer, you want to be respectful of the director. I don't know if there's like a trust that you can like say like,
Right.
hey, I would, say it differently.
But also at the end of the day, like you are doing it for your audience, for the viewers. And they've had a lot of backlash with the Spanish and the act. So it's like, wouldn't you rather just be accurate,
Yeah.
like at the cost of your ego,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, again,
Mm. Mhm.
I can see what you mean. Like you don't want to step
Yeah.
on anybody's toes,
Yeah, because I don't know what the rules are there and like
right?
how I'm sure it's even harder when you're trying to tell a person that doesn't speak the language and they are also your boss.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I know they talk a lot in the interviews. It's a beautiful dynamic, and I'm like, how beautiful is that? Because I'd be, shitting bricks
Right.
to say anything. I'd be like, I don't know how to express myself,
I
without being
would
scared.
I'd bring them a pack of cigarettes and a baguette, and I would say, excusez-moi, but may I make a suggestion?
Yes, with your
That's what I would do.
translator
Definitely.
next to you.
Yep,
Oh
yeah.
God. Yeah, and in that scene, I don't know if you guys knew the moment you started watching it what the story was, but in that scene, I was shocked. I was like, wait, what? I had no idea
Same.
that that's
When
where
he
it
was
was
like,
going.
I want to be a woman. Oh yeah.
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 No,
I did not see it
not
coming.
at
No.
all.
I did
No.
not see that coming. I was
No.
like, and that's a good plot.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
just give me something that I've
Same.
never heard of and I've never
Mhm.
Yep.
seen and hook me in. And my jaw was on the floor.
I feel
Yeah.
like that song and conversation was so important too because it could have gone really south if like he just wanted to become a woman and his reason was to escape his enemies like
Mm.
that what like he had been he explained or he explains that he wants to be her
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like that I think was so like it's not just about like escaping my enemies and like that yeah
No,
that
like it's
will be
something that
something else but it's
he
me
always wanted.
yeah
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah. I
exactly
And he even
yeah
agree.
says, like, I started the process
right
already, and I'm assuming
right
that he has boobies.
Yeah. I
I
I think
also
so
understood.
I
I
think
But
so I think so
but
there
also
was
I'm like, how could Selena Gomez not know?
also, let me tell you
I
this, that I
know
had a little like technicality issues there. I'm like, how is it that you're going through your hormones already? Because I think that's what he started, hormonal treatment.
For two
And
years.
the teeth are
hmm
still golden teeth. I
I
don't
know.
know. Like for me, that would be the first thing, you know, because I don't know. I sound super judgy, but
No, but it's hard because he's still like in charge of this cartel and he has to be
Yeah.
a boss and be intimidating to everyone
Mm.
else and still do his job, but he's also like harboring this secret that he wants to be a woman and he's already making that transition and he wants to go
Mhm.
all the way. So it's like
Yeah.
he's had to find a balance and keep everything a
Mhm.
secret, and which I get, but also like again, how does his wife not know? I'd be like, honey, when'd you get tits? Like,
Yeah, but also yes, I do, but I think she does say like they had been distant with each other like the past few years, something like that. She mentioned like what really matters for them was their kids. But I
right,
think
but you
at
don't
Mm.
one
fall
point
asleep in bed at the
after,
same night and like hug them and you like feel something and you're like, well,
well, I don't think they were even hugging each other because she said that she
Mm.
was like kind of scared of him too.
mm,
Which,
yeah,
by the way, they do introduce in this moment, like right after that conversation with with Arita and Manitas, they do introduce Selena Gomez, and her character Jessie. And I just gotta say, I'm shocked, of how this for me is the best performance I've seen her bring, on the screen. I think she's one of these
Mhm.
actors that she keeps learning and getting better and better and better and better, and every time we see her, it's wow, because it's not, we've seen her grow on TV, we've seen her, have a music career, we've seen her since she was really little, and just to see her, tap into this like, really really like soul character and really go inwards and see, because I obviously this is something that she's never experienced, but even though her accent was tough for me as a person that speaks Spanish, I think it didn't bother me because I was also doing this thing that what she would say, I would say it in English in my head, and I was like, that's beautiful if she would have said it in English. Like, that's a beautiful acting choice in English, you know?
Mm.
hmm.
And my jaw was on the floor because I did not think, I underestimated her.
Yeah, I wasn't
Same thing I did with
Yeah.
Ariana
expecting
Grande
much.
in Wicked before I went to see
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up,
hmm Yeah.
It's
And
really
mhm.
to see the childhood actors like play a role as an adult that you're like, they are not just like this person I saw on Disney Channel growing up. Like this is serious
Yeah.
actors. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really
yeah.
like it's like almost like a success story in a way, you know?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I think
agree.
at this point, they've had so much shit happen to them that they can channel
Yes.
that with their
Yep.
acting choices. Like, if we
Yeah.
Hmm.
can name so much crap that's
Hmm.
happened to all of them,
All of them.
Miley and just
Yep.
any of them,
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Buddy.
it's like
Yeah.
now that they've matured and they're outside of that Disney world and they're starting to be more
Mhm.
serious, like they can take all those experiences and use it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we can expect good things.
Totally.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
again, I'm not gonna say anything about, like, oh, because I know she's gotten a lot of shit because of the way she spoke Spanish. But at the end of the day, like when you create a film like that, this is not on her. This is on her
Mhm.
director. This is on the casting director. Like, and again, how a director that speaks French is gonna know, that her accent can be improved, And like we don't know how much time they gave them to do this,
Mhm.
how much time to practice, if they even had a person next to them to be like, no, like like to really nailed in the pronunciation of each word. We have no fucking idea in that sense if they had the time or the budget to do any of that.
And
But
even if they did, like the director could have said, "Oh no, like that cut was perfect. We're gonna move on." And it's like, oh, okay, like
yep,
it's up to him.
it's up to him. Yeah. And I still think she did an amazing job. And the
I
moment
thought
she's
she was
on the
great.
screen, I was like, whoa, like right away, I believed her right away. So yeah. Moving on to the next number, which is La Vaginoplastia, which is the one with the doctors. Every time
Fun.
I see a TikTok with that scene, I just start laughing
I think
hard.
it was the like Trace, I don't know if you're like Taylor Swift oriented or not, but Nicole, I know you'll appreciate this.
Not
like,
as much as you two.
right.
Sorry.
It was like the 1989, or sorry, it was like the Shake It Off of 1989 for me. Like it was a number that like Shake It Off, I do not like that song. I think it's so annoying, but like it had to happen for that album. Like same with
Yeah.
this song. It's just like
Yeah.
it's so I was just like, okay. But like
Yeah.
it was a light way for her to do that. So I don't know.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. I think it's one of the it's one of those songs that, I feel like it's a little bit of a comedy relief through it because it's so serious and it's a dark movie. Even like with the lights, like it just felt dark the whole time. And to have this song talking about, sex change, but so casually. And then even in the like the cinematic part of it is bright, so it's like, oh my God, finally, because the past 25 minutes, 30 minutes has been so fucking dark, and there were the moments that the doctor is just mentioning left and right surgeries, and she's like, yes, 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 and yes, I was like, oh my God, he's gonna die in the OR, in the surgery room, because holy shit. I think it was, I hope
is a
that it
lot.
was with that intention of it being funny. Because if it wasn't, they failed on that.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of hilarious. Like when she's like vagina to penis, penis to vagina, I was like, wow, they just lost me in that one. We were watching it and I like looked at Trey oh, we're just
Yeah,
going
right.
there like this,
Right.
And when they talk about the Adam's apple, that they can remove it, I was like, wow,
Shave it
this
down.
yeah, many, many
Yes,
surgeries.
yes.
Yes, exactly. Which
Yeah,
is
right.
so funny. So committed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we have that performance, it's called Lady, and it's like Zoe, it's a readout with the actual doctor that's gonna perform the surgery. And he's like kind of saying that because of his beliefs and his morals, that he doesn't, that she kind of had to convince him. In my opinion, I didn't need that number. I know it's like really like, oh, in Mark, she's telling him like, I don't know. I think we could have skipped that, you know.
Also, it's like he's explaining like he doesn't want to do it. So why did she
Yeah.
pick him? She's flying all over the fucking world trying to buy like the best surgeon to do this surgery, like hush hush, and she's gonna pick like the most moral, high ground, religious man. So I was also like,
Yeah.
like why him?
Yeah.
And she's like, you gotta meet him. And then
Yeah.
put the bags over their heads and then they go. So
Right.
yeah, that whole thing I was like, huh?
Yeah, I could have gone
Yeah.
without that
Yeah.
number. What do you think, Owen? Oh,
Yeah, I mean, um, I like I thought it was gonna be like there was gonna be some big like connection or something special, but then it went into that, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like it's like in my head, this topic, like that number would have mattered 15, 20 years ago. You know, it's not, you
Mm,
know,
hmm. Yeah,
it's not as
yeah.
controversial anymore in the sense of like, what happens if they don't want to do it? We move on. Who wants to? You know, who
Mhm.
wants to do it?
Hmm.
Like, it doesn't take
Hmm.
like you having to convince them. You know, it's not that big of a deal anymore. Thank goodness, you know. So I think it just felt forced. I was like, we could have moved on from that. Um, and then then we have that number of Karla Sofía, which is that's when she's Emilia and after the surgery and she's in the on the bed. And I think she like has a mirror and she kind of like tries to see
Hmm.
what she has. But all I kept thinking was like technicalities of like if you have that many surgeries done altogether, you could die, you know?
It is a lot at once.
It was too
Hmm.
much at once, like, because it like what it looked like is that she had done like the face,
A lot on her
um,
face.
the
Hmm.
whole thing, and then
Definitely her boobs
here
were way bigger,
the boobs are, but then
Hmm.
also here because the mirror, she kind of like, you
Yeah.
know,
right?
and I was like, whoa, they all of it at the same time, like that's fucking
There's
wild. We
there's no
also Heidi
way.
Montag almost die, you know, with her
Well,
like few surgeries on her face.
because you can't be under anesthesia that long. And those procedures must take hours, especially like those
Yeah.
bits
Hmm.
down there. Like that alone is just one surgery.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Breasts, that's a second one. And then shit with the face, three or four.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's probably something they could have done research, you know, about.
Hmm.
And again, like Karla Sofia, the actress, could have said something probably, but I'm sure she was respecting her boundaries and like their boundaries and, you know, being like, I don't, you know, I'm just doing what they're telling me to do
Right. Right.
because it's a really hard
Mhm.
thing to do at your job. I don't know.
I wonder too, like in the if we're looking at it from a musicals lens, like sometimes things happen like a lot quicker to move the story along. And so I wonder if they
Yeah.
just were like all at once, everything's done. Like
That's true.
that's kind of
I
how I
agree.
saw it when I was like, okay, yeah, that would be a lot at once, but like got to keep it
Hmm.
moving here. We're only an hour in, like, you know.
That's true.
right.
That's true.
Yeah,
You're
because
right.
we have to assume that I mean she has the money to pay for the care and the surgery, so it's
Right.
like she's there for a while and can
Yeah.
recover, you
Hmm.
know. So yeah, I could see that.
And then after that we have that basically like the jump of like 4 years, something like that. And it's basically second act, I feel like, after
Hmm.
she becomes Emilia Pérez. And then we have that that number called Por Casualidad, which is when her and Rita meet again at that dinner.
Dinner.
And she doesn't recognize her until she says something specifically. I can't even remember. And that's how
Well,
she
they're asking who they know, and Amelia says, "Oh, Simon over there,"
Mhm.
and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know Simon from
Hmm.
Emilia." So is it like something like
Hmm.
financially, maybe? Like
I think Simon was like the
Money.
one that dealt with their money, both of their money. I
Right.
think,
And
and
because
I think, yeah.
Matthias was he said, I'm the only one who will ever know the codes and all the stuff for your
Mm,
money. So
Yes.
that's how
mm,
Rita was probably like,
hmm
oh,
Yeah.
it's you. So yeah, that's what I was a little
yeah,
confused. I feel like they kind of should have
yeah.
And
maybe made that a
in
little
my
more clear.
opinion, I don't think I had no idea where that was going either. I
Mm.
saw like I was like, okay, what does she want now? You know,
Because she was like, "You're gonna kill me."
yeah, that's what I thought. I was like,
Hmm
oh
Yeah.
shit, because like, you know, Rita's like, fuck, like I thought I was done with this. And I
Hmm.
was like, oh my gosh, she's
Yeah.
back to kill her. She's
Right.
just gonna kill her. And then she just says she wants her kids back, which is like, I don't know. I feel like it's so selfish, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because like I understand, you know,
hmm
like trying to separate them from this whole thing. But if you're choosing to do that and to not be honest, you have to deal with those consequences, you know? Because it's better for you to tell them than to like live in this lie and pretend to be somebody you're not, like their aunt, something like that, right? It's that she is
Yeah. Because
like a
it was
like a
like a
faraway
cousin.
aunt,
Cousin.
a cousin.
Yeah. It was
And
like a
I'm
hmm
like,
cousin of
Yeah.
Matthias.
you're their dad, you know, and this is your family,
Yeah.
and you don't know if they're gonna accept you or not, and what you choose to do is lie to them even more.
I think that is part of the reason why, like, Tracy, for you, like, with you didn't feel those like tears coming on at the end. Like, there was this piece of me that was like, Emilia, like, why are you bringing the kids back? Like, I was on her side, and I'm like, I get it, girl. Like, you want to be with your kids, but like, I couldn't get fully on board with her because she was like, and I think that's part of why, like, the emotional, I don't know, it's just something, there was like a disconnect there because I couldn't hop on fully with her with wanting to get her
Hmm.
kids back. I was like, like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Right. Because it's like she literally killed off her old self, Matthias, like on the
Hmm.
news,
Right.
dead.
Mm,
So it's like you're moving your family to Switzerland and you are becoming a completely different person. So it's like you have no ties to that part of your life anymore. That's gone.
Hmm.
You're making that sacrifice to be who you want to be.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's selfish too for
Yeah.
those kids
Yeah.
because then they don't want to move to Switzerland. You make them move to Switzerland, then they move back to Mexico after 4 years, and they're like, we don't want to be here. So
Yeah.
like you're uprooting
mhm,
these poor kids all over the place. They don't know
And
who
also,
you
like, if
are.
you're exactly, and if you're choosing to come back and, you know, and have them be back and have them part, be honest to them. Like,
Yeah.
don't lie.
mhm,
Be honest. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what you went through. And if they accept you, amazing. If they don't, you have to respect
mhm,
their wishes. You know, that's in my opinion, that was like super fucking selfish. I was like, there's no way she's doing that. And to her wife, you know,
mhm.
to Jesse, which I think after that we see Selena Gomez hop on a phone call with her daddy.
Gustavo.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mhm,
And that was the only moment that her accent actually like bothered me. And it wasn't even that long. It was just a sentence. It was what bothered me was that it was an easy fix. They could have fixed that for her, or they could have like have somebody help her with the pronunciation. No, but they, you know, nobody did that for her. But in that moment, she transitions from that call to her number call like welcome, bienvenida. And her performance was just amazing, I feel like, in that number when she's on the bed.
Mhm.
only
Mhm.
wearing
That's
like a
really good.
t-shirt. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't even know if that's Selena Gomez anymore. That's somebody
Yeah.
else. I think she was so
Yeah.
good. She was so good. Um,
It's like she didn't care that she looked kind of crazy.
Mhm.
Like, I
mhm.
feel like
Yeah.
it could be self-conscious to just be like
Yeah.
throwing yourself around, but it's like
Yep.
she said, this is how my character is feeling in this moment.
Mhm.
And I'm
Mhm.
just like throwing caution to the wind and I'm going for it.
Yep.
And I was like, well, it paid off because I liked it. I liked that
I loved
number.
it. She did an amazing job, I think. And the even the lyrics of it were that was like the more like the better song, you know, in the way they wrote it. Um, but after that, that whole thing of the kid going to their dad to Emilia and being like you smell like my dad. I was
That
like, we
Mhm.
that
didn't need
song made
that.
me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was uncomfy too. It's
Well, and it's
also
like
Yeah.
I get like when you
Yeah.
smell something, you associate it with a memory, a person. Like that, I think
Yeah.
that is sweet, but
Yeah.
it was like the movement of everything, of him like sniffing Amelia and then like
Mhm.
being on her
Yeah.
lap, like just the movement of it made me really uncomfortable. And I was like,
Mhm.
I this relationship feels
Yeah.
weird. I felt so uncomfortable
Yeah.
in that
It was a
moment.
weird moment. It was a weird moment, I think.
I was
I
so
also
creeped out.
even
Like yeah.
go for it, Owen, go for it.
I was just gonna like I get what they're going for, and like there is like a sweet like a I don't even want to say sweet because I think it wasn't
You
really
wanted to
like it
say
wasn't
like
sweet, but like
paternal,
I,
maternal. That's what they were trying
yes,
to do.
yes, but it
Yeah.
kind of that's what they were trying to do, and I just don't think they got it quite on the nose. Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry if I am a mom and we're meeting this cousin and this cousin is kissing my kids like that. I
Uh-huh.
would lose I'd be like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I'd be like, step away.
Yeah.
Especially if you're Latina.
Yeah.
Especially. Like even more, I would be like, you're way too close to them. Like
Right.
what's good? No, 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 no. In that sense,
Yeah.
I was like, they missed the
Right.
culture all the
Yeah.
way. We would
Mm.
never let that happen. I saw it from the moment that encounter, like when the kids come in and they meet her and Jesse, and she's like, what the hell is going on? Um, I was like, they missed the whole thing
Mm-mm.
there. The whole point
Mm-mm.
of like Latin culture gone, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that the roughness of
Yeah.
that number called Papa, it builds up from there. Like it that the feeling uncomfortable, you know,
Mm.
it goes from that moment. You're already
Mm-hmm.
feeling like weird because they don't know each other, and you don't do that to kids that don't know you anymore,
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know?
And maybe that's what they were trying to do. Like, this is like obviously she knows who they are, but still just yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no trust, and then they're in the bed, like the
Mm-hmm.
next night, and she's
Mm-hmm.
like, "You smell like my dad." No, 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 no.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Yeah, but it's
then,
also like
uh-huh.
you waited 4 years to see your kids too.
You
So
waited
Right.
4 years. Your
yeah, like
hormones have changed, so I don't really think you smell like your dad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my thing is like you just don't have the right, like
Yeah,
you've given
yeah,
up your parental
right.
rights.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So you just to like swoop in and be like, like no.
Mm-hmm.
Like, eh, 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 eh.
I agree.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have this whole number called El Mal, which is which is Rita and Emilia, and it's like when they're trying, to do good. Like Emilia wants to do good after, she got killed many, many people when she was Manitas. Which I don't know if you guys felt this, but I was like, this is the dumbest idea because all eyes are going to be on you. You're going to get caught.
Yeah.
And in my
Mm-hmm.
head,
Yeah.
that's where the movie was going.
Mm-hmm.
That would have
Mm-hmm.
been a great ending for me.
Yeah.
Like she got caught,
And I think also what would have made it better is if we had known a little bit more about Manthias, like beforehand, like how hard was he? How tough was he with
Yeah.
the violence and the threatening, and like how many people have you killed? Because then her coming in and being like, I want to right all my wrongs, I want to save my soul for all the bad things that I
Yeah.
did, and just knowing like, oh, you did a lot of bad things, is it enough? Like, just I feel
Yeah.
like maybe that would have helped a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden,
Yeah.
what's this crusade
Yeah.
of, oh, well, now we're going to help all these missing
Yeah.
people
And also, how
in
many fucking
Mexico?
people are missing? Like girl.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that, I don't know. I was like, this is bad. This is not good for you. And I was like, this is where the story is going. Like, she went in
Mm-hmm.
over her head
Yeah.
and she's gonna get caught, and
Yeah.
this is how she's gonna die after she tried for all this year to really be the person that she wanted to be. It's just
Mm-hmm.
gonna fucking like backstab her because she tried to quote unquote, save her soul or whatever. But,
Yeah.
the writer said, no, that's not where we're going.
Mm-mm. No.
JK.
No. Yeah.
Just
When
kidding. This
the
is
news
not the
cameras
easy way
came,
out. Yeah.
no.
Yes.
I saw the new I was like I just
Yeah.
wanted to once again, like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't be on your what you're doing is good, but I just I can't get behind you fully. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you don't feel bad for the character at all, ever,
Right, right. Yeah.
You don't have a soft spot for them, even though, they wanted to be that, even though she wanted to be a woman for so long, that I feel like that was the only moment that I felt vulnerable for her, when she's expressing
Yeah.
that she just wants to be her true self, and the only way that she can do
Yeah.
that is to
Yeah.
basically detach from her family, kind of disappear, da 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 da. And then after this, I'm like, you are the most selfish person right now. Not only you're bringing your kids back, you now want to save
Right.
everyone with the spotlight on you,
Right. Yeah.
And I'm surprised that, I see Rita's character like be like, no, are you sure? But I feel like Rita's character would have stopped her. And that's in the writing, obviously,
Yeah.
but Rita's character, from what we know, would have been like, you can't do that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're gonna put us all in danger. We're gonna die, so I'm not gonna help you, period. But then again, it's the cartel, so she can't really say no. So
Right.
I mean, if anything, like you're not going to go on camera. I'm going to be the representative as your lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll make any statements, but like you can't
Yeah.
be in the public eye. It's
mhm,
too
mhm.
dangerous.
Right.
Like that I could see.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
again, she is still Manthias. I think at
yeah.
the heart of it is that
Manitas.
even though
Yeah,
Manitas,
yeah.
even though she has changed herself physically,
Yeah,
but like at the heart of it, she is still who she was.
yeah, yeah.
Like you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Guess
I
that's the point
agree.
of
It's
it.
like like even though you're trying to do all this stuff, you're still manitas. Like you're still the things that you did, you
Right.
know?
Your
Um,
your soul is like, I always think like your soul
yes.
is there
Yeah. Exactly.
for the better,
Exactly.
but like you're like you have lived, at least in Emilia's case, like this very different life than she's living after.
And I also always feel like, in my opinion, when you've made mistakes like that, you know, you don't want to like try to reverse them. What you want to just be a good person, be a better person,
Mm-hmm.
help the ones in
Yeah.
actual need in the moment. How can you be a better person? Rather than, oh, let me just heal all the people that I actually hurt big time years ago. All these kids. Also, like I was like the whole thing with like that many people disappearing and like in jail, and I was like, this is kind of ridiculous.
I
Like, no.
I guess that's the thing though, is that she was trying to be a good person,
Hmm.
and because she had connections, she was like, I know people in prison that can lead you to some of these missing, so that's
Yeah,
why
but
she's
like
in.
I 100% like I know that's what they were trying to do. But like, what do you like instead of that? What you try to do is like create support groups, offer like some financial help or like a fundraiser institution, rather than, like that's not going to delete the fact that you got rid of all those people, And I feel like the 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 male ego at the end was still a little bit in her soul. And it's like, I still have control of this. I can fix this.
I guess
And
maybe that was the point though, that's what they were trying to show,
Yeah.
maybe they got that
like,
one thing right.
Right.
yeah, as much as she tried, that it wasn't selfless, it wasn't altruistic, that she was doing
Hmm.
it for
For
herself.
her, uh-huh. Yes. Yes. Then we have Selena Gomez character Jessie sing Mi Camino, which we see her, at that club, just living her best life, with her little boo thing. And, she's just like really happy because she finally
Yeah.
has this guy that she actually kind of cares about, who turns out to be an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess
Well,
like if you like surround yourself,
Mm-hmm.
in that. I just have like I don't know. Oh, and did you ever watch like Ozark
Mm-mm.
or Breaking
No,
Bad? Well, no, Breaking Bad, no, it's not
no.
a good example. But I feel like when you're that type of cartel, you're so high up. Like corporations are involved. So there were like a side in this whole movie, there was a side that they would show that I was like, I don't think the cartel is like that. There's so much money. It's like they would
Right.
go to like um really like hood clubs, like underground stuff. And I don't think they handle like that they handle themselves like that anymore. I think they are um like you would never think they're cartel people. Does that make sense? Like
I mean, when
if
I was in the cartel, we went, no, I'm
That's what
kidding.
I'm saying. Like
I have no
from the
idea.
shows that I've seen, it's like they become
Right.
so high up. It's like
Yeah.
businesses are
Yeah.
involved. It's like a
Yeah.
corporation. It's like an umbrella.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
people that are involved, you would never,
Mm-mm.
never think that they are involved, you know? And like the wives either, I don't know. I feel like in that the portrayal of those little things, I get what they were trying to do, but I'm like, we've seen so much stuff about cartel now that I'm like, they they should have known better in that sense,
Yeah.
because like for her to go to a guy that is basically the same as Manitas was, you know,
Yeah.
With
because
that
he
cowboy hat.
like God. And then you guys are hiding in like this like place with like a bunch of like people with guns. I'm like, this is I didn't think that was a good ending, to be honest.
But then again, that just shows how much the director doesn't know about the culture. And like, he didn't say, hey, let's at least do some research. Like, I don't know about this.
Right.
Let me maybe ask someone, or let's watch some documentaries or whatever. So that was his negligence too.
Yeah, like this is
Mhm.
definitely not on the
Yeah.
performers or the
No,
actors.
no,
This is
no,
like
no.
the writer and the director. I'm like, guys, you should have
Right.
done better research. This whole like shooting in like in the desert, in the
Well,
darkness. And
also,
you send your one lawyer.
right.
Right.
Well, they had like a SWAT team coming in.
Yeah,
But
they did.
my thing is like, so even like right before that, when we see that Selena Gomez comes home and she's like, I'm getting married. And then, of course, Emilia is like, the fuck you're not, right?
Yeah.
And then she grabs the kids, Selena grabs the kids in the middle, Jesse
Uh-huh.
leaves.
And they have
And
that
then,
number called the trio where they're
right.
calling Rita
Yeah, like, get
back
my
and
kids
forth.
back.
I want my money.
I want my money. Yeah, so it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
chaos, right? And then they get the delivery at the charity, and it's Emilia's fingers, like 3 of them. So I was like, oh shit, like someone who doesn't want Emilia poking around with her organization to try to find all these people, they have her. That's what was in my head.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, is like Selena's man like someone from the past that is now seeking revenge, and then it turned out that it was just like she was. It wasn't that. It was like, oh,
It was
yeah,
out of
Right,
love, I guess.
right.
yeah,
It was Selena Gomez
yeah.
and her boo.
Yeah.
Her boo.
It's
Yeah,
like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Disappointing.
Also, like they pair switched her voice so many times as Manitas, and I was like, Jesse, you still haven't noticed that's him, or that was him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you still haven't made that connection. So I don't know. There was a lot of like tiny storytelling mistakes that I was like, I cannot, and I feel like that's why I wasn't invested with music wise in that sense. Like nobody had their own sound.
Mm.
When it comes to like the soundtrack, like everything was so different. Like nothing connected. Like it was just like boom, boom, boom. Like let's just throw songs in there, you know. Um, but at the end, I did not expect them all to die. I was like, one of the parents is
Same.
gonna be alive, but
Yeah.
no, they all die,
Mm-mm.
and poor Rita ends up being a parent to this like traumatized children.
But at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of nice because she mentions
That
multiple
she
points of the
wanted.
movie that she's married to her
Mhm.
career and she has no time
Yep.
to date. And like she
Yep.
does want kids, but because she has no
Mm-hmm.
time to date, she can't get a man, so she can't get
Mm-hmm.
pregnant, so she can't have kids. So it's like
Right.
through all of this, she does end up having children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not the way
Traumatized
she,
children.
yeah, maybe not the way she would have liked, but
Right.
Also,
it's
like,
something.
I don't know, like these kids come in the house and they're just hugging her. And I was like,
Yeah.
they
She
barely
was
know
like, they're
her.
not. They're. She's like, your mom's not coming home, and
Right.
that
And
was
they're
like the
like,
last line. Yeah.
hug.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You've known me for a month. I worked with your aunt. Hug me.
Yeah, right.
Oh God. And the thing is, like, I see
Yeah.
what they try to do,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to be a little bit more realistic, especially when you're giving us such a raw story, you know?
Mhm.
You have to like give us the bad parts too. And including the whole thing that did not need to save all these. Also, there was like a love story for Emilia too. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
With
Right.
the parent of one
Yeah.
of her victims, with the mom of one of her victims. I was like, this bitch is selfish, you
That
know?
that whole thing made zero sense to me though. Like all of a sudden she's in love with this woman, which is fine, but the way that there was no build up. It was like because she had a knife. Oh, I'm in love. I have a gun.
Yeah. Right.
Like it
Yeah.
didn't make any sense to
I'm
me.
telling you, the end was like all that was this act two rush. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I
gotta tell
thought
this story fast.
when she came in with that knife, like I thought she was coming for Amelia.
Same.
Yeah, me
I was like, oh my
too.
God. And then when she like came in to give her a hug, I was like, no, this is it. There's like something's happening.
Right.
And
Every
then
time I thought, like, yeah, they gave us a lot of twists and turns, but every
yeah.
time I thought, like, okay, this is where the story is gonna go, I'm gonna be satisfied, you know? It was
You'll never
like
be
the right,
satisfied.
I will never be satisfied. That's so true.
Yeah.
Hamilton taught us.
Oh yeah.
It's like every time I was like, okay, if this is the ending, I'm gonna be satisfied. If this is the ending, I'm gonna and the writer said, no, no, baby.
Mm-mm.
We're
No.
just gonna take a big left turn to where you don't think we're going, and that's where we're gonna go. You know, they're gonna die in the back, and they're gonna fall in that car, and that's it. Se acabó.
Yeah.
And then it explodes. I went, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Oh, they
Yep.
are definitely not alive now. I was like, oh
Yeah.
no, maybe they'll get
I was like,
out.
I was looking at the trunk.
Oh,
I was
never
like,
mind.
yeah, same. I was like, okay, the trunk, like she could still get out. And then I was like, oh
Uh-huh.
no,
No.
Yeah,
no
the
one.
whole time I was
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
about that. I was like, somebody's gonna come out. Nobody comes out. Then we see Rita coming into the house and being like,
Yeah.
here, my
That's it.
children now. And scene.
Yeah.
And scene.
That's it.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
basically touched on everything. We did really
Yeah.
talked about their performances. I think they did the best they could with what they were given, and I'm I think even in what the director wanted in their characters, they brought it, you know.
Mhm.
And Zoe, I feel like she did such a good job, just very, very well. The director of this, Jack something,
Jacques?
Jacques something. I have mixed feelings about him. Apparently
Yeah.
what I read is that he doesn't do the same things ever. So like he did this
Mm,
musical, he'll never do a musical again.
Mm.
So it's like
mm,
he changes genres and
Oh, so he's pretentious. Okay.
that's what I feel like. I'm like, is
right.
he a little pretentious or what?
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about him?
I mean, I think it was interesting, Nicole, to hear like your perspective, especially like when you talk about like language and culture and how like it really seemed from that, like he wasn't fully invested in that. And like it did for me, I didn't notice because
Yeah.
I'm not as well versed, but like to hear that is such an interesting perspective because like that is so important when you're
Yeah.
doing a movie about the Mexican cartel. And but if you're, you know, yeah,
What's really upsetting is if you want to tell a story like that, you could have done it in France. Based it in France with French people,
mhm,
and that's it. Doesn't have to be a Mexican
yeah,
cartel,
yeah,
you know? There was
totally,
I read this review that it felt like it looked like the movie, I was like, that's exactly how I felt. Culturally, it felt like you go to Paris and you go to a Mexican restaurant where nobody that works there is Mexican, including the people that cook. And then that kind of like the decoration is like little like things that they found at a party city,
Mm.
you know? So I was
Culturally
like,
appropriating.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it felt like celebrating Cinco de Mayo, when it shouldn't even be a celebration. Like it was, I had mixed feelings culturally about it. I was like, I don't know what the point of making it Mexican was,
Mm.
He could
Yeah.
have just kept it, if you're do what you know,
Mhm.
like create what you know, because you obviously know your culture,
That's a
so
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I have issues with movies or TV shows where it's like they try to take all these different platforms, like a big PSA
mhm,
for like multiple different issues. Just
mhm.
pick one.
Yeah, I
You
Mhm.
agree.
know,
I agree.
like don't try
Mhm.
to do all these different
Over,
things.
yeah, yeah.
Like either make it more
Yeah.
about like the transgender part of it and like transitioning and being your authentic self,
Mm-hmm.
or make it about the cartel and you're trying to get out of it and now you
Mm-hmm.
want to redeem yourself because you feel like you did a lot of wrong and you
Yeah,
don't feel like
yeah.
you are that anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, just like pick one or the other.
Pick
Like I felt
one.
like it was like two separate movies trying to get smashed together with some musical
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
It just
And
had potential, I think, which is frustrating. And the acting was great. And I do think the direction in the sense of like the angles and like that was good.
yeah,
But yeah, just a lot of other plot hole things with like you said, the culture and the
yeah. And
language and
little mistakes that I'm like, these mistakes matter.
yeah,
They make a difference
right.
in the
Because
story.
to me it's a respect thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to
Yeah,
be respectful to those
yeah.
cultures, to those language, to people. Like there
Mm.
are people, like
Right.
Mexican
Right.
people.
They exist.
So yeah, exactly. So
You
take it
can
seriously.
cast them too.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's like, how would you like it if a bunch of Americans tried to play French people and were just like, oh, ho, 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 la, 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 ooh,
Ooh
eating
la la.
cheese, this is good.
Right.
Like you'd
Right.
probably be a little upset that that's what we
Yeah,
think of French people.
yeah.
So,
Right.
Do you
boy,
have fun facts, Trace?
I have quite a few actually.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. So the first scene that was filmed was, I probably shouldn't say anything in Spanish, but El Alegato. So the
Uh-huh.
first musical number. So that
Was
was the
the
first thing that they filmed.
okay.
It was also the most difficult. It took 3 weeks to film it
Oh
because
my God.
they used elaborate sets, blue screen, practical
Mm.
effects. They used a steady cam, they used crane shots, and they had 200 extras, and they had to do like some choreography because there's the dancing and in blocking and everything, and then
Mm,
obviously it's a musical number, so the singing, so it was a lot, so it took them 3 weeks.
okay.
A long time.
Wow.
While promoting Emilia Perez, Selena Gomez said in several interviews that she's not fluent in Spanish and did not feel happy about her Spanish in this film. Her character was originally Mexican in the script, but it was changed to her being American due to her limitations with the language.
Mm.
Mm.
So, and
Interesting.
that's also why they kind of had her speaking both
Yeah,
in the films
Spanglish.
to, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, kind of justify that choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, El Mal, the musical
Mm-hmm.
number, was filmed with a live band.
Oh wow.
They had
Hmm.
a live band performing it while she did her whole thing.
When she did Dance on the Tables.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of cool though.
That's cool.
Jacques Audiard, Frenchy director, said he became inspired for the idea of the musical from a chapter in a novel entitled Écoute, or Listen, which is about a drug trafficker who yearns to change his identity. He also said he did not study Mexico while writing this film. He said he already knew a little bit about the country, and that was enough for him. So that
This explains so much.
It shows.
Yeah,
It shows,
exactly,
yeah.
right? Like we're so
Yeah.
surprised.
We get
and
it,
yeah,
yeah.
obviously
We know.
he doesn't speak Spanish either.
My God.
Right.
That's just that's ignorant.
Yeah.
And
it's so disrespectful.
pretentious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretentious.
Oh, I've seen Mexico on a map. I know it.
No, he probably went to Cancun and said, like, I know Mexico. Let's go.
True. Yeah, probably.
Right.
For their performances in the film, the female cast shared the Best Actress Award at the 2024 Cannes Film Festival, and Karla Sofía became the first trans actor to win an acting prize at Cannes.
Oh, good for her.
That's great.
The film received a 9-minute standing ovation at the end of the screening, becoming the second.
Okay, calm down, everyone.
I know. Becoming.
What?
Wait, listen to this though. Becoming the second longest standing ovation, which Jacques' other movie that he made in 2012 called Rust and Bone received a 10-minute standing ovation.
Can you guys imagine like
Standing and
giving a
clapping
standing
for 10
ovation
minutes?
for 10 minutes? I can't. Like
30 seconds, I'm out.
30
Good.
15.
30.
I'd be
15.
sitting.
We're
I'm
good.
like, I need to sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My legs, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. After like a minute, I'd be
Yeah.
like,
They hurt.
No,
okay, like
we're still
head
doing
you did a good job. You're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Good job.
Although, and Nicole, sorry to bring it up, but at the Eras
Taylor
tour, like I was standing there after Champagne Problems. That was like the big, like everyone see how long we can cheer. And I was like screaming for like 3 minutes. So like, I get it, I guess, a little bit. I can't, it's not the same, but
It's not. Also, the
understand.
vibe at a concert is
Yeah.
different. You know?
Exactly. I understand
but concert
that. And also,
different.
like,
Yes, so true.
like you
So
just had
true.
someone perform
Yeah.
for 2 hours. So that deserves a 10-minute standing ovation. It's like that I kind of
And that's
get.
a really
Yeah.
good song. So
Let's see. Okay. No shock, but the film is set in Mexico with Mexican characters, but
Yeah.
it was entirely shot in Paris, France. However, there were 5 days that they did some exterior work in Mexico for the final scene. So the shootout and then the quarry when they go over the cliff. That was shot in
lovely.
Mexico. The only Mexican in the cast is Adriana Paz. Paz?
Adriana Paz.
Paz, gracias. Paz is also the only one in the main cast who did not get an Oscar campaign and barely got mentioned in the film's marketing. She's not even featured on the poster or promoted during award season. She didn't get a seat at the Golden Globes next to her castmates and did not walk the ceremony's made red carpet either. So, just want to throw that out.
That's so upsetting.
Okay. I'm almost done. The gay and
Sorry,
lesbian
my
alliance.
Wi-Fi was weird.
You're
Okay.
good. I'm almost
I'm
done.
good.
That's what I was
Sorry,
saying.
I was like
No,
cut
you're
my
You're
yeah.
good.
I'm here.
Good. Stay with me. I'm almost done. The Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, GLAAD, called the film a profoundly retrograde portrayal of a trans woman that recycles the trans stereotypes, tropes, and cliches of the not-so-distant past. The Latino community, especially Mexicans, also expressed their discontent over the film's stereotypical portrayal of Mexico and its people, and for romanticizing the cartel and disrespecting its victims. Upon its release, the film was criticized for its lack of the native representation both in the cast and crew, and for not paying attention to details like the use of words such as "carcel" instead of, oh gosh,
Cárcel. Dice.
penitenciaria, like
Penitencia.
penitentiary,
Sí.
in a scene showing the prison. Mexican actor Eugenio Perez,
Eugenio. That's okay.
gracias, said it was odd for a director that doesn't speak English or Spanish directing a film in such languages set in Mexico without understanding the culture, adding that American actors speaking Spanish with no proper knowledge of the words was distracting and lacked truth.
Yeah, that interview actually went viral. And because he's an actor. And listen, I have, as a Latina that went to school for acting, it bothers me a lot because the talent is there. You just have to find it. You have to make an effort, and it doesn't sound like they made an effort on finding it. And again, this is not to discredit the work of the actresses. I think they did an amazing job. But could you find people that actually speak Spanish and can actually guide you with the language and the culture? Yes. You could, but you chose an easy way. You chose names in the industry that were probably going to help the film when it came to marketing. And because of that, that's going to backfire. And you have anything else, Tracy? That was
I
the
have
last
one
one.
more.
Okay,
One more.
because
This
I
is the
just
last
wanted to
one.
like touch in with the awards real quick before we're done.
Speaking of awards, okay, perfect. So when it won Best Picture, musical or comedy, at this year's Golden Globes, Luca, Guadagnino, who did the
Who's that?
Challengers,
Oh,
he did
okay.
the Challengers movie with
Yeah,
Zendaya. He was also up for the running. So when Emilia Pérez won, he walked out of the room. I didn't know that.
I saw this. I didn't see it happen, but I saw the videos later. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm gonna look it
I know.
up. TikTok, do your thing.
Yeah. Well, you still can.
I'm gonna download Red Note. I don't care. Okay. Well, listen, what I wanted to touch about the awards is like it's really sad that it becomes very like political when it comes to like their performances and stuff, because it shouldn't be. At the end of the day, yeah, they did a great job performing wise, but the director didn't do his job, so I don't understand how come a movie that really didn't respect the Mexican culture when it comes to like speaking the languages, when it comes to their living style, and many other things,
Right. The trans community,
the trans community, again, like what I was telling you, I was like, I don't think you like when you're transgender, I don't think you do that kind of thing. Like that's the whole point, is that you don't want to be that person that you were, but whatever. I feel like they won the Golden Globe because it's about a transgender story and because it's a foreign film. But being a foreign film, you're not respecting what the country that you're supposed to be representing. And how the fuck are you gonna do a movie based in Mexico and film it in fucking Paris? Like, you just told me that and I'm like shocked right now.
Yeah.
So
sadly, you
sadly,
have one actual Mexican person in your cast and crew. That was it.
That's insane. So I did think they won because of that, because I'm sorry, I can't get over the fact that Wicked did not win. And I just saw the BAFTA nominations and Wicked is not even nominated. Yeah.
What?
Wow.
But they are.
Rude.
Emilia Pérez is nominated. Yeah. And the BAFTA is the British ones.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's just really, really upsetting. I'm hoping the Oscars like changes it, and the SAG Awards already are changing it. I don't think I'm
Because, well,
not
that's
sh
them like voting for each other.
Yeah, but still I don't
No.
think
Right.
I'm not sure. I gotta look it up. I think there was something different in the SAG. But the BAFTA one, they just came out the nominations today, and I was like, why is this shit nominated? Why?
Mm.
That's crazy.
You
And I
know?
do think like the awards have become super political because they got
Mhm.
so much backlash of like it's just white men basically
Mhm.
who keep
Mhm.
winning.
So now
And
they don't know any
and now
middle
it's
ground.
like,
They're just like,
right. They're
yeah,
like, you're a minority,
Mhm.
you
we're
win.
in. Hmm. Yeah,
Which not to like discredit those people and say they don't deserve it,
Right.
yeah,
but like you should win an award because you proved that it was the best.
yeah, because it was worthy of it. Yeah,
Right, exactly.
yeah. Well, for it already has 32 wins from award season already. And
Wow.
in the Golden Globes, it won 4 times, and which is really upsetting because it won foreign film and it won Best Musical.
Mhm.
My boyfriend doesn't know shit about musicals, and he
Yeah.
said that one over Wicked, you know,
Uh-huh.
and
Right.
for him to understand that
Wait, it said 4 times for Golden Globes? It won
he won
5
I see here
because
4.
foreign film, best picture, musical comedy, Zoe Saldaña, Sophia won, and
Mm-hmm.
then it won best song, El Mal.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
I don't know. It's very, very upsetting. Let's go through recommendations. Oh, and do you recommend this movie?
I am going to say I do recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
And my reasoning is overall, I think trans visibility, even though like there was some backlash for certain parts of it, I think it was important to have a story like that so mainstream and out there.
I agree. I do recommend I'm gonna say it's a good story. It has a lot of loopholes, and I do think it's a topic that needs to be brought, brought up and talked about and normalized a little bit more. Um, and yeah, I think everyone should watch it. But do I love it? Not really. It's good. I think Selena Gomez's performance was her best she's ever given us. Fuck yeah. I don't know Karla Sofia's uh work from before. I
Mhm.
think she did good. I don't know her. Zoe, I think she's done even better than what we got. She's amazing. There's no discussing that. She's really good, and she gave us really good again.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would recommend it because the story, I didn't know anything about it really. So I think it's different than from what's out there. Like you kind of get tired of watching like the same cut and paste
Mm-hmm,
movies all the
mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah.
So this was different. And I think in a good way. And was it perfect? No. There were a lot of problems with the story and
Mm-hmm.
culture and language, but I think the core of it is there, and the performances were great.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think what I mean by like the music is good in the sense of not everybody is like us that we enjoy musicals.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah.
So for
It's
someone,
different.
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's not your typical musical. So if
Mm-hmm.
you don't like musicals, I think you would still like this. I think
And it's
that's
Mhm.
what
more
I was
like
trying to
like
say.
speak singing too. Like
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
it's
It's
not a
not
lot of
like,
just
Yeah.
singing. Yeah.
Right.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I think it is for everyone. So even if you don't like the traditional musical, this isn't a traditional musical.
I
Right.
agree.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that you would like it. So
Well, so we all recommend it. We do have
Mhm.
our strong opinions about it. I do not think it should have won. And that's basically it for Emilia Perez. I really hope the Oscars switch this for us
Mhm.
because I do think it's an insult that Wicked is not getting
Mhm.
the attention that
Yeah.
it should get, especially the director.
Mhm.
Like, how is this director? He's not even nominated. I have no fucking words. When so much was like put in, like you
Mhm.
could tell the research was done.
Yes.
What this
Yeah.
guy didn't do, this guy did, and
Yeah.
it's
Right.
not being
And which is
appreciated.
crazy because Oz is not
A
real.
non-existent place.
It's not.
place.
It's not. It is.
Owen, can you believe it?
It feels
Yet
real.
he could have gone to Mexico and
Right.
done a little research.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
what blows
you.
my mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But
So
you
yeah,
know,
John M. Chu, love you.
yes, exactly. I'm just hoping it's what Giovanni told me. He's like, there's a part two.
That's what
There's another
I
part.
keep
So I'm
thinking the
hoping he
same.
just
Yeah.
takes it. I'm
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
you better
Taken
be
in part
right,
two.
because I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah.
Well,
For
that's
good.
it for good.
For good.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a lot of tears.
Um,
Yeah. I can't even
See?
think about it.
that movie made me cry. I'm
Oh
totally
my
capable
God.
of crying. That's how I know if it's a good movie. Is
Right.
Yeah,
it
if it
feels
touches
like
your
it should.
heart.
Yeah,
Right.
I want to feel invested in these
Mhm.
characters.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
spending 2 hours.
Right.
Make me feel something.
Right.
Penis to vagina, vagina to penis.
Mhm.
That's all I had to
Take down
say.
that Adam's apple and get big
That's it.
titties.
Well, okay, that's it for our the listeners today. That's it for Emilia Perez today. I cannot talk about this shit anymore. Owen,
It
thank
was
you
a
so
lot.
much for joining
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you,
This was so
Owen.
great. I loved it. I love
Oh,
it.
good, good.
We
We'll
love
have you
having
again
you.
all the time.
Yeah, I'll come back if you can't find someone. I'm happy to fill in.
We love that.
Give us a call.
Give us a
Yeah.
little call. Our people will contact your people.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I think that's it, guys. Thank you for judging with us. What else, Tracy? Make sure you subscribe, rate, review. Oh, and tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everyone to give it a listen. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Cool.
Everyone say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.